Hey witches. So I wanted to share this with you just real quick. It is a dark moon, the new moon, technically, for my, you know, what I think the new moon is when Diana's bow starts to show, but so many people will call it, they'll call the dark moon the new moon, whatever resonates with you, whatever your path is about that, you make your choices. But I've put out a lot of videos about what to do on the dark moon, and they all relate to, like, if you need to do something baneful, which I hope you don't, and you might want to really start to reconsider doing that. Okay, because we're all connected, and just remember that. Be careful. It needs to be so warranted that you don't second guess yourself. I've made a video on that too. But speaking of the great positive things that you can do during this time, if you don't have anything you have to banish or bind or get away from you or harm, you can do your shadow work. There's nothing but darkness, so it's a great time to go within. Go within, find what you need to get rid of, find what's blocking you, and do a ceremony, and then you have something to banish now because you know what to get rid of. And if you can't get rid of it, then you can work on it. But really, there's nothing you shouldn't be able to get rid of through the mind. The mind is the most powerful thing that you have. Okay, your heart is extremely powerful, but your mind is what's controlling your heart. Your subconscious brain's controlling all of those functions without even thinking about it. So you're doing all these things without thinking about it, and during that time you're also attracting things constantly. So stay happy. Stay happy. How do you stay happy? Well, I've made videos on how to raise vibrations, and how to switch thoughts, but don't think that it's not okay to feel a negative emotion every now and then. You're human, you're a spiritual being, but you're in this human body, and you're interacting with other humans, and things are going to happen. It's great to just process it for a minute, chalk it up to what it is. If there's something you need to learn from it, and then squash it. And then don't keep going back to that past issue. Past issues can completely block off manifestations in total because you're living in the past. Why in the fuck would you live in the past when you can't do anything about it? If you're that interested in your past, what I suggest you do is find somebody really good. There's a girl named Mel. I'll link her channel below, but she does a really great explanation of the Akashic Records, gives you lots of ways to tap into them. If you really want to know or you have some issue with the past, go into the Akashic Records safely, and you need to be versed, at least somewhat versed, in meditation and also lucid dreaming and astral projection, at least one of those. Astral projection would be best because it's going to, give you the most faith because you've been somewhere before and you can get there. Because if you go with the intent that you can't visit the records, you're not going to. So if you need to do that, but proceed with caution because you might find out shit that you're taking a risk there. It's not dangerous. You just need to make sure you can handle it because you're accessing basically the universal source of all records, of all vibrations, all energy, all information, everything. And your future can be changed in the Akashic Records. If you're wanting to do that, go for it. Okay, go for it. And ask questions like, what can I do to achieve this? Or show me what this looks like. And you're kind of planting seeds in there too, okay? And I haven't heard anybody say that that's bad yet, so I've done it a couple of times, not gonna lie. I love going. It's beautiful. It's crazy. The first couple of times you don't really feel like much has happened, but once you keep going back, okay, I know what's going on. So I do recommend you try it if you are seasoned. If you're 15 years old and have not been, you're not protected spiritually and you just aren't sure, you might not mentally be able to handle doing this. So maybe wait till you're 17, 18, or have a really good teacher or someone supportive around you that can help you, okay? So anyway, completely went off topic, but not really. So dark moon, shadow work, try to not eliminate the past, but eliminate the ability that the past has to fuck with you, because it shouldn't. It's hard to not let it, but you have to learn that. You just have to. So after you've done that, So what do you need to do after that? So you've done your shadow work, working on yourself. And then once you've done all that tonight, I would suggest that you do it tomorrow. But, you're working on yourself tonight through shadow work, maybe a nice bath before, reset yourself. Maybe put some sage, maybe some basil, whatever you feel called to put, maybe even a little bit of lavender if you're wanting to bring in some peace, Just put some things in there with you that help you relax. If it's just a bath bomb, then put a bath bomb. But put a little salt too. Put a little salt just to cleanse yourself before you do shadow work, because it helps make it feel more ritualistic. And as witches, when we do that, we tend to stick with it more. It's just something that I have found after all these years that applies to me. I don't know if it applies to everybody. So after that, tomorrow, if you choose, once all that, you've slept through it, maybe something comes to you in a dream that helps you deal with it. That often happens to me after deep shadow work, especially around dark moons. So if you do have any dreams when you wake up, just do a talk to text into your phone real quick into your notes, and you might need to come back to that at some time. I would say write it down, but it takes longer, and we are in the age of technology, so why kill a tree? Unless you just have to. Because I know witches like to write with our quill pens and our bat's blood ink. Yes, I know, trust me. Been doing it for over half my life. So, what you will do tomorrow, and doesn't matter what time, whenever you have time to do it, but just start putting down, pick 3 intentions. And if you just have one that you're laser focused on right now because you've been manifesting it, use that. You're not starting your manifestation over. You're just making sure that you're bringing that intent with you back into this cycle. Okay? And when you are doing manifestation, do not ever, this is the biggest advice I can give you. Don't come from a place of lack. Don't come from a place of need, sadness, sorrow, despair. Oh, if this one thing happens, it'll fix everything, because it won't. It'll make a lot of things better, but it won't. Nothing fixes everything except death, because then you don't have any more issues in your pure consciousness again until you decide to come back down. So don't come from those areas. Come from love. Come from gratitude. Come from faith. Come from happiness. And hold on to those feelings as long as you can, because those will raise your vibes. But if something negative comes along, deal with it, face it, poof it out of existence and move on. Because people are going to fuck with you. They just are, especially the higher you're vibrating. That's why a lot of times, most of the time, when our manifestation is getting close, everything in our life starts getting so chaotic that we can barely deal with it, okay? This summer, I endured more trauma than I have endured my entire life. And it was because something huge was getting ready to happen. And I knew it while it was happening, but I was still pissed because it wasn't fun to go through it. But then once it happened, I was like, okay, that's fine. It's worth it. I'll deal with it, and I'm not letting that trauma affect me. And I didn't let it afterwards. It was for a couple of weeks, I was meh. But then I got myself back up and kept going, because I knew I had this wonderful, thing headed my way. And there's another one coming, and another one, and another one, and that's what manifesting is. You don't just pick one and go with it, but I do recommend doing one at a time, because it just makes the focus easier. And a lot of times, they're all tied together. Like if it's large sums of money, well, that's going to bring in the house, the newer house, the better cars, the paid off this, the paid off that, the gifts to loved ones, and all that. So when you're laying down your manifestations, so if you're starting tomorrow and you put them in your journal, start visualizing them. Don't wait till the next day. Start visualizing them as you fall asleep. Don't meditate before you fall asleep. Meditate when you wake up. And don't do a guided meditation. Just go into your inner self, into your inner being, and connect with that inner being. And that's going to give you insight throughout the day, and more intuition throughout the day, more guidance throughout the day, but most of all, more peace throughout the day. So that way, when some asshole that you're having to deal with in the current reality comes up to you and says something, or sends you an email, or has some issue with something you're doing when you really didn't do anything wrong and everybody else is doing 10 times worse, they're calling you out because you're not a vibrational match for that place anymore. whether it's friends. I'm speaking about a work situation, but it could be that. It could be friends that start to fall apart. Not apart, but away. Hopefully not falling apart, but friendships start to fall apart because you're vibrating on a different level. But don't be afraid. You're only going to ascend, and during that ascension, you're going to meet people that are vibing like you are. Okay? And that's what is the most important thing, that they're vibrating on the same level, because that is natural friendship, natural love. Okay? So you can raise vibrations by doing that. That's one of the easiest ways to raise vibrations first thing in the morning, because you're already in theta. So you meditate, and then after that, say those positive affirmations that you believe. And if you don't believe them, do your questions. And you can do your questions before you go to sleep, and your higher self, your subconscious, whatever you want to call it at this point, will answer for you, or start thinking of ways to answer it. And sometimes when it does this, it starts pulling things toward you in a faster momentum. And don't ever chase a manifestation, because you chase it away. Bring it to you. Bring it to you vibrationally. Vibrate at the same frequency, at that desire as much as possible. But don't make it a chore and something that stresses you out, because then that's going to lower your vibes and push it away. And that's the hardest part of manifesting. Visualizing is easy. Anybody can visualize. You close your eyes, and whatever way you like the best. Sometimes I like to just picture the event of how it's going to happen, and it always plays out exactly the same way. Or I like to just make a blank movie screen and start plopping stuff up there. Just pointing, this is here, 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 this is here. And then I'll go with my finger and circle the things, that I really, really love. And often I'll draw myself in the center, or just my initials, so everything is around me. Or not draw physically, but mentally. But I do it also, and I do when I journal, sometimes I'll do a picture of the same thing. You can also script, but when you're visualizing, this is so important, because I just found out that someone very dear to me, who's not even a student, but a friend that's doing this too, that's had some success with it so far, was telling me today that his visualizations were not bringing him to tears anymore. And I don't know if it's because he's not emotionally invested enough in this particular manifestation, or if he's just figured out everything and he knows that it's going to come, no matter how much feeling he puts into it. But when you first start, and especially for females, every visualization that I have ever had that has brought me to absolute tears of joy, even when I'm halfway through it, is going to be something certain, because you have put your entire heart into it. And females were so good at this. So good. Guys are good at it too. They're master manifestors too. They can be. But women, especially witch women, especially when you get, to that sage level, you can't, there's not much you can't do by that point, okay? And you just need to have faith. You need to have faith. So do your visualizations, do your meditations in the morning, stay hydrated, try to eat healthy. If you want to script, you can script. There's so many methods. It doesn't matter which one you picked, and it doesn't matter if you script at all. It doesn't matter. It matters that you do the visualizations for at least 21 days. If you've tried it before and nothing worked, do it for 45 or 60. Do it until you don't feel like doing it anymore, is what I feel like that I should say to you. Just keep doing it until you feel like, I don't feel like I need to do it. Not because I don't want to, but because I feel like it's done. And you'll know when it's cemented. You'll start seeing those angel numbers or those significant numbers popping up all over the damn place, and crazy synchronicities that you cannot deny. You cannot deny them. And once you see those, you know it's cemented. So you really don't have to visualize anymore at that point. Because the universe is mirroring back to you, okay, I got message received, okay? And then what will happen is they will start to slow down. The signs will slow down, sometimes even stop. And sometimes just randomly appear sometimes, just to kind of, give you that extra pat on the back that things are coming. It just depends. It's different from everyone. And it's also your intuitiveness, your awareness, what you're picking up on. So be on the lookout. Also be on the lookout for feelings. If it feels good, if it feels in alignment, go with it. If you feel resistance, go a different direction, because why would you do that? If there's already resistance there, why engage? Go with the flow. Go with the flow. Everything is downstream in manifestation. There should not be any uphill battles. Uphill battles, that's just resistance. Downstream thoughts, okay? Happiness, love, joy, peace, freedom, ecstasy, speechlessness, wonderment, excitement. Just ecstasy is the best word out of all the ones I use that I can tie it to. So after that, then your packages, as a Hierophant that I'm learning from right now says, your package is out for delivery. So that means that it will not be far away at all. And this process can take a month. It can take a week. It can take a day for some. It just depends on how much resistance they have that it won't come. Okay? And I put thank you, universe, on here because I want to thank the universe for what it just gave me. And I'll elaborate that a little bit. I'll tell y'all more about that later. But right now I can't. I'm sorry, but I can't. But just trust me, from someone who's been there, done that, and back again, doing it again and again and again and again and again and again. And you do not need a candle. You can use candles. You can do whatever you want. You can add tools in, but I'm just telling you, you don't need them. You don't need them. So just put them up, use your brain, and that alone, because that is a witch's most powerful tool. And I've told you that since one of the first videos I made. You are your most auspicious tool, you and you alone. Candles are not magic, okay? We can charge them with intent, bless them, consecrate them, but they're not magic. It is the power of a witch that is magic. And it is in every spell you visualize, don't you? But the thing about it that spells leave out is they just say and then wait for this long, but they don't ever add, that you need to be in a certain state at all times. You need to, you need to have high vibes. You need to have vibrations that are as high as they can be and vibrations that align to your desire. And they don't mention that. And that's why I think, that manifesting is still a spell. It just doesn't have words, like that. You're making up the word. You're making up the spell, which is what good witches do anyway. So, for example, if you're trying to attract money and you want to light green candles around you, or, some type of money incense or patchouli, or even put some money oil on, I still do that. I still do my money oil, and I love my candles and my stuff, but I don't depend on it as part of the process. Sometimes I think, well, I'm starting my visualizations on this and it has to do, with something financial, because I want a car that costs $400,000, and I'll hopefully be getting it very soon, but I have to learn to drive a stick, and I don't know how, but I'm learning. So that particular, when I started this particular manifestation, since it was, really, really tied to money, I did, a few green candles around and had them burn, just some chime candles while I did the visualizations. And I made sure I did them until the candles went out completely. So that was 20 to 30 minutes of plain, just sheer visualization. And that's how you plant the seed. Because if you don't plant the seed, nothing can grow from it. How do you water the seed? By keeping those vibrations high. Fill your cup of self-love to the point to where it's flowing over. I'm seeing the Ace of Cups where the water's just shooting out. It can't possibly hold anymore. Try some way to put a cap on it so it doesn't leak out. Don't let people steal your energy. If somebody is being disrespectful or hateful to you, it is because they're jealous or because their vibes are so much lower than yours that they can't get you. They just can't. And if you're a witch anyway, this is not new to you. It's not new to you. So it's just the path that we chose, and it's beautiful. So I just want to give a shout out to the universe and say thank you, and thank you for watching my video, guys, and thank you for being here, because it's not to help me. I don't give two shits if I make a penny off of this channel. I don't care. It's not what it's for. It's to, if I can change one person's life a month for the better, that's great. That's all I want. And as always, I will include my info in the bottom. There's links to stuff that I can sell you if you want to buy it. That is up to you. It will help you. My t-shirts, I love them. I actually wore my Spirit t-shirt again yesterday, and actually won, I'll tell you this, won a $25,000 scratch off wearing that. I never win anything on scratch offs. So I was like, okay, cool, sweet. Lucky shirt. So, not that it'll do the same thing for everybody. I think it was just, I felt so confident in the shirt that it was like, nothing's going to hold me back. This is my shirt. So anyway, check it out. You might find some things that resonate with you on there. And I have a promo code. It's just Willow. And I was going to say, in the description, my email address is at the bottom. It's mermaid3105. Click that and email me any questions that you have. I will answer them for free. If you need to talk, I do free consults. I just want to help. So that is it. And again, thank you, universe, for everything. And I can't wait to share it with the world. And guys, blessed be, and use your moon cycles. Use them because they help focus. They help us focus. Plus, we know how the energies of each moon phase affect us. So that's all I have, witches. Blessed be.